Since 2016, Wall Street has quietly bought the Las Vegas Strip from under our feet, transforming iconic casinos and hotels into cash machines for distant landlords. VICI Properties alone now owns nearly 40,000 rooms and controls more Strip land than any company in history, raking in billions in rent that never showed up on a Vegas balance sheet before. For visitors, that means skyrocketing fees, tighter odds, and the disappearance of the old Las Vegas magic. So what really happens when Wall Street owns over half of Sin City? And why does everything suddenly feel so much worse? The answer reveals a side of Vegas you've never seen, and it all starts with a deal that changed the city forever. MGM Resorts used to own nearly every inch of its famous Strip properties: the hotel towers, the casino floors, the land underneath. That changed almost overnight. In 2016, MGM started selling off the real estate, setting off a chain reaction that would redraw the ownership map of Las Vegas. VICI Properties, a company barely out of the gate as a spin-off from Caesars bankruptcy, began snapping up assets at a pace nobody had seen before. By 2022, VICI pulled off a $17.2 billion takeover of MGM Growth Properties, instantly becoming the Strip's largest landlord. The scale is staggering. VICI now controls about 660 acres on and around the Strip, including icons like Caesars Palace, Mandalay Bay, and the Venetian. Nearly 40,000 hotel rooms, over 1 million square feet of casino space, and 6 million square feet of convention halls, more than any single company has ever held in Las Vegas history. It's not just the big names. Every major deal since 2017, whether it was the Mirage, the MGM Grand, or the Venetian, has added to VICI's empire. The result? A city where the companies running the casinos no longer own the buildings or the ground beneath them. Instead, they answer to a handful of landlords, with VICI at the top of the list. All of this happened in less than a decade, turning the Strip into a network of lease agreements and rent checks. And for the first time ever, the real power in Las Vegas sits far from the slot machines and showrooms and boardrooms built for collecting rent. Every month, operators on the Strip cut some of the largest rent checks in the country, money that flows straight from the casino floor to Wall Street. The numbers are staggering. MGM's master lease alone demands $744.6 million a year. Caesars pays $454.5 million. The MGM Grand and Mandalay Bay properties combine for another $309.9 million. And the Venetian Resort, now run by Apollo, owes $257.5 million. These leases aren't just fixed. They come with built-in escalators tied to the Consumer Price Index. So the rent rises automatically, year after year, regardless of how business is actually doing. To put it in perspective, for every $100 a guest spends at a resort like MGM Grand, a growing slice is earmarked for the landlord before anything else. These obligations didn't exist a decade ago. Back then, operators paid themselves. Now, they're locked into contracts that guarantee landlords a steady, bond-like return. When inflation ticks up, so does the rent bill. Operators have to find that money somewhere, and the pressure is relentless. The landlord gets paid first, no matter what's happening on the casino floor, no matter how many empty rooms or slow nights. This new reality explains why every dollar counts, and why the hunt for new revenue streams has become so intense. The Strip's business model has changed at the root. Predictable cash flows for landlords, mounting fixed costs for operators, and a financial squeeze that shapes every decision from the boardroom down. Free parking on the Strip used to be a given, an unspoken promise of value that set Las Vegas apart from other tourist destinations. That changed in January 2016, when MGM announced that even self-parking would come with a price tag. At first, overnight rates were pitched as $10 or less, but it didn't take long for fees to climb and for other operators to follow suit. By the end of the decade, Paid parking was the rule, not the exception. And the days of pulling into a casino garage without pulling out your wallet were over. Resort fees followed a similar path. In 2018, upscale properties like the Cosmopolitan or Aria charged around $30 to $35 per night, on top of the advertised room rate. By late 2024, those same fees had ballooned to $50 or even $55 before tax at the Bellagio, Venetian, and Cosmopolitan. That's a jump of more than 60% in just a few years, and the fees are unavoidable. They're added to every booking, whether you use the pool or just want a bed for the night. For a family staying 3 nights, that's $165 on top of the rate, before they've even touched the minibar. Then there's dynamic pricing, which takes the old Vegas model and flips it on its head. During the Formula One Grand Prix in November 2023, Strip hotels pushed average nightly rates to over $780, with some rooms clearing $2,000 or more. That's a 300% markup compared to a typical November weekend. Algorithms now set the price, adjusting every hour to squeeze the most out of every surge in demand. The result is a city where the price you see is only the beginning, and where every trip feels like a negotiation with a spreadsheet. Fees and spikes aren't just a side hustle. They're core to the business model, and they hit visitors in the wallet long before they ever set foot on the casino floor. On the casino floor, the changes are impossible to ignore. The old standard, $5 or $10 blackjack with a fair 3 to 2 payout, has nearly disappeared. Where there were once about 720 of these tables on the Strip in 2010, by 2022, only about 275 remained. The new normal is 6 to 5 blackjack, a subtle tweak that gives the house a much bigger edge and leaves regulars shaking their heads. Even the slots have tightened their grip. In 2024, Nevada's average slot win percentage hit 7.2%, meaning less money returned to players than ever before. The feeling among longtime visitors is simple. The games just don't give back like they used to. But it isn't just about the odds. The human side of Vegas is fading too. Daily housekeeping, once a quiet promise of hospitality, now depends on union rules or a special request. After the 2023 repeal of the pandemic-era cleaning law, only a handful of resorts, mostly those with strong union contracts, still offer automatic daily service. At non-union properties, it's often on request, and guests are left to chase towels or wait for a knock that never comes. Even the personal touch at the front desk is vanishing. In 2025, MGM closed concierge desks at several properties, pushing guests toward app-based help. For many, it feels like the warmth and spontaneity that defined Old Vegas has been replaced by QR codes and chatbots. One housekeeper put it this way: "Wages went up, but there are fewer of us, and guests notice. It's not the Vegas they remember." The city that once prided itself on service now runs on algorithms and automation, and the loss is felt in every interaction. In June 2025, Las Vegas posted its sharpest visitor drop in years. The city logged an 11.3% decline in visitor volume compared to the previous June. Hotel occupancy slipped to 78.7%, down more than 6 points from last year. Average daily room rates fell to $163.64, a 6.6% decrease, while revenue per available room dropped nearly 14%. These aren't just numbers, they're a warning sign. Convention attendance, once a reliable midweek anchor, also slid by more than 10%. Taken together, these figures show a city that's hitting resistance. After years of rising prices and shrinking perks, the crowd that made Vegas hum is thinning out. The old promise of value isn't pulling people in the way it used to. High-end gamblers and luxury tourists are still spending big, even as the average visitor pulls back. Casino gaming revenue set new records in both 2023 and 2024, with the Strip pulling in more from table games and slots than ever before. At the same time, the Culinary Union secured a 5-year contract, guaranteeing a 32% wage increase for nearly 40,000 workers, a deal that made headlines as the largest in the union's history. Operators poured capital into renovations and new attractions, funded by Wall Street's deep pockets. But these upgrades and pay raises come at a cost. With rising fixed rents and labor expenses, operators are under pressure to keep margins healthy, often by focusing on premium guests and events. The result is a city that still dazzles at the top end, but feels less accessible for everyone else. By mid-2025, Vici Properties controlled 660 acres and nearly 40,000 hotel rooms on the Strip, the largest landholding in Las Vegas history. As documented, annual rent payments from operators to landlords now exceed $1.7 billion, a cost that didn't exist before 2016. Resort fees have climbed past $50 per night, and daily housekeeping has shifted to an optional service for many guests. While casino profits and union wages have hit record highs, visitor numbers dropped 11.3% year-over-year in June 2025. The full impact of this ownership model on guests, workers, and the city's future remains uncertain. Some files, including private lease terms, are still redacted or undisclosed. But the evidence is clear. Wall Street's rise has transformed the Strip from a place built on hospitality and spectacle into a landscape defined by extraction and efficiency. Las Vegas, once known for its deals and surprises, now asks more from every visitor, raising real questions about what is left of its magic.